believable. Saw it at the time, it's achievable. Now I got the drive, get the key to go. Got the key to go, if I believe it though.
Yeah, being in this space, I know I gotta hold my hope down. Seeing what it takes, I gotta know that I can show how.
Questioning myself if I believe it though. No longer question if I'm really a believer though. Now you should take into account that my account can build my belief. Take into account, I must account for what I really think. Being in the space, I learned to see. I only ever make what every day I can't believe. I gotta go. This the only life I know. I believe it in my mind, so I know it's time to show. This the only vibe to go. I do believe it, do you believe it? I said, are you a believer till the end? When your funds are low, can you believe in it again? No longer ever questioning yourself if you believe it though. You never questioning yourself if you believe it though.
Now there's one thing about the future, you should know that you deserve it all. Landing on the moon, take a belief that's going vertical.
Being in the space, I learned to see. I only ever make what every day I can't believe. I gotta go.
I'm more for it, they're telling me to slow down, but not now. The minute that it goes down, I buy out. Got another tour stop, but never with a tour stop. I just try to know. I need a moment on an island though. I need to know where every vibe can go. I need a moment where the time is slow, but she told me slow down on crypto. She doesn't know this is it though. Need a vacation from the big show. Need a vacation from the get-go. She told me slow down on crypto. She doesn't know this is it though. Need a vacation from the big show. Need a vacation from the get-go. She told me slow down on I won't slow you down. I'll try to hold you down. My eyes are open now. Won't slow you down. Won't slow you down. It's not me. It's not me. I never slow down. On this crypto life. On this crypto life. I never slow down. Never slow down.
DJ on the beat.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com. Disclaimer: Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments. Nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosures.
All right. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hope you guys liked that music video. Today's going to be a heck of a live stream. We have lots and lots to cover. Today, we'll do a deep dive into gold. should you be investing in gold, especially in times like this? We're in really something that nobody has really seen before. This could be not just a recession, but a depression. How does gold perform versus stocks and crypto? Is your money better off in stocks or crypto, or are you better off holding gold? We're going to go back and look back in history and see how well gold has fared. And as usual, we'll have typical live stream AMA. Today's show is just me. Bill was not able to make it. But with that being said, let's hop straight into the show. All right, so first up, quick shout out to Mark. Mark has been first 2 times in a row. No, actually, I think that's 3 times in a row. What's up, Mark? How are you? Hey, King Nick, what's up? Jada, what's up? Hamid, how are you? Ashutosh on Twitter and Periscope, how are you? Matthew, what's up? Alberto, Sehan, Jada. Good day, Ian, how are you? Are you starting to get bullish on XAU USD more than BTC? I'm not sure what XAU is. Do you mean XAUT, Tether Gold? What's up? Mind Blocker, what's up? Volume has been fixed. Let me know if anybody has any issues with the volume, or just type in the comments below. Prospect LA, what music video is that? That's Crypto Slowdown music video. We've had that on the shelf since 2018, so we were waiting to put it out there during a bull market, but obviously crypto has not really been in a bull market anytime for the last 2 years, basically, besides Bitcoin. But we have lots of other videos on the shelf as well, and we also have our crypto music album on the shelf. I'm thinking of maybe putting that out sometime this year. All right. Everybody here, great. All right, let's hop straight into the stream. Since it's just me today again, let me pull up the agenda. Just give me 1 second. Okay, all right. And we should be almost here. All right, so as mentioned today, we've done shoutouts, we've done intros. Most of you know me. I'm Ian Bellina, CEO and founder of Token Metrics. Go to tokenmetrics.com to sign up if you haven't yet already. Become a smarter investor. Leverage professional analysts, analytics, and machine learning to win, to have more winning investments in trade and crypto. Whether you're a short-term trader or a long-term investor, we give you both ratings using our expertise and data and analytics and machine learning software to make you a much smarter investor. All right, so we'll go through and do quick analysis and thoughts on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins through cryptotherapy. Then we'll dive into the show, gold versus stocks and crypto. And then we'll tell you about new projects we have added on tokenmetrics.com. And we'll talk about upcoming projects that are in the pipeline in terms of being reviewed. And then we'll have the AMA, the Q&A. Any questions you have, we'll answer them. We'll be taking questions from our community forum. Once again, if you haven't yet already joined, be sure to join. Go to forum.tokenmetrics.com. That's forum.tokenmetrics.com. As you can see, the community is already popping. We have lots and lots of engaged users already. So even when the live stream is not on, because the live stream is here only once a week, every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time here in Washington, D.C., but the community is popping off 24/7. So any crypto questions you have, go here, engage with the community, start the discourse. I like this better than the Telegram discussion group because conversations, there's more thought behind the responses, and the responses can be saved and archived so that anybody down the road can come and access those same questions. And I feel like with Telegram, people are typing on their phones very short responses. They aren't really writing in-depth analysis. And that's something I would like to create with the Token Metrics Community Forum. So be sure to join. Go to the Introduce Yourself section and talk about why you're here in crypto. For instance, if we go in here, let me go towards the end. So a day ago we had Noman Gabula said, "Hey, hello crypto fam. I've been here for quite a while, but couldn't just figure out how to get this down. I'm a trainee attorney in Nairobi, Kenya, but originally from Uganda like Ian. That's what's up, crypto family in Uganda. I'm looking to learn and gain financial independence. To the moon indeed." Then we got Raymond over here. I go by Raymond, or so everyone thinks. All right. and very interested in money matters as it helps with all my other affairs. Happy to discuss crypto or traditional markets in this area. Been following Ian, by the way, since 2017 too, but remained in the shadows. But then again, as I like to say, let me put your mind at ease. I will never tell you anything. All right, well, Raymond Reddington. So for those who don't know, that's actually the character from that show Blacklist on NBC. It's a show about like spies and stuff like that. But anyway, great to have you here in the community. All right, so let's see what we have in store for today. So Bill's not able to make it today. Let me just fast forward through this. Okay, so cryptotherapy. Let's dive straight into talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoins. Now, I'm going to reference Token Metrics and show you how I personally would use. Hold on, let me try. So I'll walk through Token Metrics and show you how I personally would use Token Metrics to get a better understanding and do an investment or trade in either Bitcoin, Ethereum, or any altcoin. Okay, so this is Token Metrics right now. So right now we have short-term trading. So let's say I'm looking for a short-term trading opportunity. Just make sure this is turned on here on the left. And looking at the opportunities right now in crypto, these are the opportunities Token Metrics thinks in the next 30 days. So 30 days or less. That's the time frame for short-term trading. Time frame is 30 days or less. For long-term investor, is 12 months or longer. So if I want purely a short-term trading opportunity, the best opportunities right now are Bitcoin, 89%, Ethereum, 87%, Zcash, 84%, Maker, 83%, Matic, 82%, Helium, 80%. Now actually, this is still being scored. There is a glitch at the moment because there are 2 Helium tokens and we're pulling in our pricing and our pricing data from CoinMarketCap. And if you go to CoinMarketCap, Helium was officially listed on BBox or BuyBox exchange. However, there is a different Helium, which should not be confused with the Helium I'm talking about, because the other Helium is a shitcoin. So definitely don't want to be taking that L on this. Because if we go here and put in Helium, this is not the Helium I'm talking about. Okay, this has no volume, no liquidity. If we go here, it's only trading on Crex24, which is a bad exchange. Now the Helium I'm talking about is helium.com, which is a different one. It has, actually sorry, and it's not this other one as well, because this is what's confusing CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap has this, and because we're pulling in our data based on the symbols, so this is not the one I'm talking about. The one I'm talking about is also HNT, but it's not on CoinMarketCap yet. But that's the whole purpose of Token Metrics. The idea is to find hidden gems before anybody really knows about them. And Helium, for those who've been subscribed and following us for a while, you know that we've been very, very bullish on Helium. I myself have been mining out for the last, I don't know, 3-4 months now at this point. So I'm in on Helium. Just want to kind of put that out there. I definitely do have skin in the game. All right, so, but regardless, because CoinMarketCap will list it once it's on 2 or more exchanges. So let's give it, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks before CoinMarketCap has Helium on there. So ignore the trading data, but the fundamentals and technology grade is still the same. But regardless, once the TA score starts pulling in, you guys can see we're very, very bullish on Helium. It's going to be, in our opinion, a very, very good project, especially with a market cap. Now just go through our past videos for more intel on that. Going through here, we have Holochain, Monero, Cardano, and Waves. Okay, but you're probably saying, Ian, how do I use this to make a trade? Okay, so first thing first, I would only look at the top 10. I would not look at anything below this. And then I would look at, we have fundamentals, technology, but more importantly, if it's a short-term trade, I would find something that is in a very bullish trend, or maybe worst case bullish. So for instance, if we just add the filter here, very bullish. And I also want liquidity. So I want something with very good volume. So let's say I want volume to be greater than 1 million daily volume. Actually, no, 10 million is probably better. Okay. So looking at the volume for that, now let's go back here to sort by the grades. We have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Maker, Matic, Holochain, Monero. All right, so let's say I already have some Bitcoin, I already have some Ethereum. I'm looking for an altcoin to make a trade on. Well, according to Token Metrics, next up would be Maker. So if we go into here, let's now take a look and see what Token Metrics has to say about MakerDAO. So we already know it has good fundamentals, decent technology. Let's go to technical analysis. So we see here it's very, very bullish. So we have these different oscillators. The EMA are bullish for the 9-day and 200-day. Now looking at this, so in the last month or so, the lowest price it went was about 240, and it's been as high as 343 on April 7th. Wow. And right now it's basically around in the low 300s. So looking at that, so this says it's very, very bullish. Now let's take a look at the price predictions. Now these typically also have a different mindset. So one thing just to clarify, the models we use for short-term trading ratings are different from the models we use for the price predictions. They're two different models because people are asking, Ian, how come the models conflict? Because they're different models. So ideally you would like the models to be in alignment, because that means you have two independent models crafted differently that are both giving you a very, very bullish sign. Now sometimes they're in conflict. So when they're in conflict, you definitely want to take things with a great grain of salt. But I would say I personally would opt for the token ratings over the price prediction models, because in our analysis and research, those I would say are better indicators or predictors for a bullish trend than looking at just purely the price prediction. I know lots of people love the price predictions, which is good, but I myself would opt for the other ratings because they encompass up to over 74 different data points. So in my opinion, that's a better way to find a good trade. All right, back to this. So looking at this, we see that this is, so in red we have the actual price, and in purple we have the predicted price. So for the most part, obviously it's not perfect, but the idea is for the price prediction is really just to give you an indicator of where the trend is going. So here we see, obviously this was when, here we had some pricing issues with our API, but for the most part it's kind of been close. So down here obviously was coronavirus, but as we go here, it's now getting closer and closer. So the predicted price has been a lot higher than the actual price, but here on April 18th, the actual price went up. Now here we see the predicted price. So it was actually predicting the price to dip and then recover and go back to where it is. So this, this is kind of in conflict with where things are going. But all in all though, looking at the next 30 days though, it's basically saying the price will be pretty much where it is right now. Now, this accuracy has been about 80% or so in the last few months. So that should be taken with a grain of salt. So that there's one possible trade with Maker. If we, let me go back here. If we go back to, okay, it took my filters off. Let's see what other trades we had. We also had Matic Network. That had decent volume. That was very bullish as well. Okay, let's pull up Matic Network and see what that has to say. Okay, so same thing, very, very bullish. The customs here are bearish, but the model's not really giving them much weight for the most part. Now this has really been in a steady uptrend. It came from a low of basically 0.01 all the way to 0.012 or 0.013. And going to the prediction models for this. Wow, okay, so this one actually looks better. So looking at this, so both models are predicting short-term dips in the next 1 to 2 weeks in crypto, but then they're predicting a huge run-up. Okay, so this is very interesting. So the price prediction model likes Matic Network a lot more than it does MakerDAO, even though MakerDAO has a higher rating. So just as a way to kind of diversify, if I was looking for short-term trades, I'd probably go into these two. And now this really gets me thinking, because the price prediction models are predicting the first 1 to 2 weeks of May a positive uptrend, and that is in alignment with the Bitcoin halving. So if we pull up the halving chart over here, let me just pull this up here. So we have 22 days until the Bitcoin halving, when the block reward will cut in half from 12.5 coins per block to 6.25 coins per block. So this is May 12th. Now going back to our price predictions, so if we go back to Matic Network, so it's saying Matic, the closer we get to the halving, the more positive it expects Matic to perform, which I found very interesting. Now let's just compare this to Bitcoin, because obviously we have to see how Bitcoin will fare versus this. So if we go to price predictions for Bitcoin, it also has Bitcoin trending up. So actually Bitcoin has a very, very short dip here. So our models are saying Bitcoin could go as high as 9,200, almost 9,300, coming to the Bitcoin halving. Okay, not bad, not bad. So I mean, that's how I would personally use Token Metrics to go through and try to find a possible trade. The whole idea isn't really trying to find the perfect trade, because perfect trades rarely happen. Nobody's perfect. The idea is to find what's happening in the short term and what's the probability it's going to perform well. So looking at the models, we're basically seeing that Matic Network and Maker are definitely good candidates. Now, if we go back to Matic Network here, let's say I want to put in a trade for Matic Network. How would I craft my trade? So back to the price prediction models. So if we go down here at the bottom, it also tells us different high and lows based on the model predictions. Okay, so let's say you want to go all the way to the halving. It's predicting a price of 0.02408 cents in US dollars, but it's saying it can go as high as 0.0301. So this would, let's say you go into the trade and it goes all the way to this price point. I myself personally would think of this as a take profit target. So if it goes here, you should definitely take some money off the table, whether it's just your initial or whatever method you have, but definitely take some money off the table. And then down here, prediction low, this could possibly be your first initial stop loss, right? So this could be stop loss 1. This could be some other stop loss, but this one is very, very low. But looking at the trends, I would say this could be one possible stop loss, and this could be one possible take profit. Now, obviously, this is based purely on the model. This is not based on any form of technical analysis. If you're a trader, I would use this as a tool to supplement and complement your current TA. And I will also use the ratings we have here as a way to supplement and complement your technical analysis. So meaning that typically before any trade, you have several things you like to check, right? So let's say you have 3 checklists. So checklist 1 could be, it has good ratings on Token Metrics for short term. Checklist number 2 could be the price prediction models are very, very bullish. And checklist 3 could be the charting and TA also say that, hey, this is very, very bullish. So we could say, here, let me just go back to Token Metrics again. So checklist 1 could be it's top 10 or top 5 on overall grade. Checklist 2 could be the monthly TA trend is in the highest category, so it's very, very bullish, or it's bullish at the worst case, but I would say ideally very bullish. Then the third one could be the price prediction models. So for anybody out there who's a customer on Token Metrics, I think having those 3 checklists, right? So being top 10 in overall grade, short term, being top 5 or being very bullish, I would say, on TA, and price prediction models also being very, very bullish. That's one way you could leverage Token Metrics to find winning trades. Now, Token Metrics has been performing very, very well in the last, really since beginning of the year. We had lots of winning trades. lots of the best performing cryptocurrencies each month Token Metrics has found. So for instance, last month, Monero, Dash, Chainlink, and others. So I mean, we're definitely very pleased with the results thus far. Obviously, it's not perfect. There are some hiccups along the way, but overall, right, as it says up here, become a smarter investor and subscribe to Token Metrics today to leverage the platform. We have 14-day free day trial. So sign up, nothing to lose. As we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, this could really be a great opportunity to make some money. Let me know what you think. Okay, let me check the comments and see how we're doing. Hello, Ian. What did you say again about helium? Sorry, I missed it and want to stay listening live. I said don't mix helium because there are two heliums. There's one which is called HLM symbol. Then there's a different one called helium with HNT symbol. Now, not to confuse those two, but there's also a different cryptocurrency, I think called Hinal, that has a symbol HNT. So don't mix those two. Alpha Diallo, oh man, Crypto World Tour was lit. Definitely want to do it again. We're doing great in South Africa, and you? Great. We need Bill Noble. Yeah, I mean, it would be great to have Bill Noble, but he's been busy at the moment. Why is MakerDAO ranked so high? I would say log in and view the ratings. I mean, we go in depth into all of that. Problem with gold is that there is a ton in the ground owned by banks that can easily flood the market. I feel silver has a better reward ratio. Okay, very interesting. Watching from Botswana. Hey, what's up, Shashi? Great to have you here. All right. Great crowd here, great crowd. Okay, now let's go on to the next topic here. Just give me 1 minute to shift over. Okay, we do not need this. Turn this off. All right. Okay, so now time to go straight into the show. Gold versus stocks and crypto. So I think we can really encompass this by looking at three things. Looking at how gold's performance has fared, or rather fared during the last recession and financial crisis in 2008 and 2009. Looking at gold's performance in 2020 during the pandemic. And looking at how gold has fared versus stocks and crypto in 2020. All right, so first up, this is a chart from TradingView that's looking at gold. Gold is in blue here versus stocks and equities. So we can do this by looking at indices. So looking at S&P 500 and Dow Jones and looking at how they fared. So if we start here, in 2007, they all kind of began at the same level. But as the financial crisis happened, look at this. Dow Jones and S&P 500 fell as low as 46% and 52%. So about half of the value was lost. But on the other hand, the value in gold during the last recession shot up 51%. So all the way past 2009. So in between this 2-year time frame, between 2007 and 2009, you basically quadrupled your money if your money was in gold. And I think this is very, very crucial to point out, okay? Because even though the charts show that gold went up 50%, actually, no, hold on, sorry. Not quadrupled, you basically tripled your money, right? So let's go through this with a hypothetical example, right? Let's say you have $1,000, okay? And in that span of 2 years, that $1,000 goes up 50%. So 1,000 times 0.5, you've turned $1,000 to $1,500 in 2 years just by having that in gold. Now let's say you have $1,000 in stocks, and right, Dow Jones, S&P 500, and that goes down 50%. So times 0.5, your $1,000 has gone all the way down to $500. So now you have $500 in stocks versus $1,500 in gold. That's a 3 times difference. So just by avoiding taking an L, I mean, as we say,
You know the deal, please
no
don't
L's.
take the L.
Take no L's. So just by having your money in gold, you've really tripled the money you would have versus keeping that money in a very risky asset. Now, that's not to say stocks are not great. I mean, because historically speaking, long term, stocks outperform gold. Okay, so this is definitely not knocking stocks, but this is saying rather in times of pandemics or times of a recession or having a financial crisis, being able to preserve your wealth and having a store of value is vital. It's vital. I mean, because this is how people become rich. Gold is not meant to be a tool to make you rich. Indirectly, it can make you rich, but gold is meant to be a store of value. It's meant to protect your wealth. And this is the perfect example of this, right? Looking at the last recession, so imagine you had $1,000 in stocks. This would be $500. And this other person who put their money in gold, they would have $1,500. So this person would be 3 times as richer as this person after the recession. That's the power of gold. All right, okay. Now going on to the next point. Now let's look at the current pandemic. How is gold performing? And how is gold performing versus stocks and also versus Bitcoin? Because obviously we're here at Token Metrics. We're pro crypto, pro BTC and Bitcoin. Looking at this, okay, Bitcoin since 2020 is down 2%, 2.5%. While stocks are down, S&P is down 14%, Dow Jones is down 18%. But gold is up 12%. So even in 2020, gold has outperformed Bitcoin, gold has outperformed the S&P 500, and gold has outperformed the Dow Jones. So, I mean, yes, I know we're pro crypto, but the proof is in the data, the proof is in the charts. Obviously, we like analytics and data, and gold is time tested as a store of value. Yes, we're pro crypto, but crypto is still nascent. It's still early. It's still finding itself. Think of crypto as a teenager, a teenager going through puberty. Maybe it has lots and lots of potential, but at the end of the day, gold is gold. Gold is the real store of value. We view cryptocurrencies as a form of speculation. Now, as also a means to get alpha, right? Cryptocurrencies are outside of the current pandemic. Cryptocurrencies have not been correlated to stocks and equities. So there are ways to diversify away from stocks while getting alpha. But during the liquidity crisis and crunch, everything has been going down. But stocks have been bouncing back up, as we see here, because they dropped all the way down to 36% here with the Dow Jones and S&P 500 about 32%. And now they've bounced back up. Amazon has, I believe, reached all-time highs. But however, gold has been the stablest of them all, even versus crypto. Crypto is the most volatile. Crypto going all the way, because back in mid-March, Bitcoin was the best performing asset. But as we all know, on Black Thursday, Bitcoin had that legendary crash. Dropped more than 30% in one day. But it's also bounced back up. It's bounced back faster than stocks. So in a way, Bitcoin and crypto has been a leading indicator because it's the only free market really left. Bitcoin is trading 24/7 globally, something that stock markets don't really have. So it's really a free market. So we see here it bounced back up very quickly, and now it's trying to catch up to gold, but it's still not quite there. Okay, so next up, let's look at how crypto and other cryptocurrencies have fared versus gold. And our team has done an in-depth review on Paxos Gold. And for those who don't know, Paxos Gold is a regulated gold-backed cryptocurrency. So we thought, let's also add this into our analysis. So if somebody wants to have exposure to gold without leaving the crypto ecosystem, they can do that. So looking at this chart here, if we, okay, so beginning of the year, we have BTC here, and BTC is pretty much, I think this is the BTC Coinbase pair. Let me just take a look. Yeah, Coinbase pair. Okay, so BTC versus Ripple has been pretty much the same. They're both around 0%. Then if we add Ethereum, Ethereum has really bounced back a lot. Ethereum is up almost 40% on the year. So Ethereum versus Pax Gold, which is about 12%, versus the entire crypto market, which is about 9% or 10%. So Ethereum has fared very, very well in this recession, which is pretty surprising. But I think that could be because of several factors. It could be because of DeFi, the decentralized finance. It could be because of Ethereum 2.0 coming out. So there's so many different things happening in the Ethereum space that it's really hard to pinpoint exactly why it's blowing up. But I think those two factors are probably the biggest factors that are causing Ethereum to fare well. But Ethereum was also very, very volatile. As we see here, it dropped 40% on Black Thursday. It dropped faster than Bitcoin, but it's been bouncing back up here. So all in all, what does this mean? Because we have lots of things going on here, but what, looking at 2020 and what's happened recently with the pandemic and looking at the last financial crisis in 2008, it's basically telling us, for any smart investor out there, having some exposure to gold is probably a good idea. Now, we're not saying go out there and sell crypto, sell stocks, and buy gold. No, but I'm saying if you're building a diversified cryptocurrency portfolio, having gold makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Let me know what you think. Post down in the comments whether you think it makes sense to have gold alongside your crypto portfolio. Okay, Bill. Hey, Bill, how are you?
And hi, can you hear me?
Yes. All right, so Bill just joined us. Just give me 1 minute here to pull him into the show. Okay, let's take. Okay, so we have to update the text here. Just give me 1 second. How's your week been, Bill?
Oh, we're living in a new world, as we all know. So I'm still here. That's good.
Okay, that's good. Hope you're all right. Okay, let me just give me 1 second here, because people were asking for you on crypto therapy.
All right. Well, yeah, that's yeah, I had a serious delay there, but I'm here.
Okay, here, I'll just do it like this. Okay. This will work. All right, there we go. All right, Bill. How's everything? Everything good with the market? What's your take on how things are going?
Well, I have put a substantial amount of time into this. So visuals are pretty straightforward. Let me pull now if I can. And let's talk about this. So when you look at Bitcoin, okay, let's start by looking at the Bitcoin futures contract. Okay. Now, the Bitcoin futures contract has this kind of history around this diagonal line that I have on here where these arrows are. All right. Bitcoin's above the line, it kind of goes up, and if it's below the line, it's sort of down. All right. Now, one of the things I've noticed is that Bitcoin has burst through the line and it came down and tested 6,500 and bounced. All right. So what does that mean? All right. Tell you what it means. It means that someone has discovered that by the time this is all said and done, okay, Bitcoin and crypto may be the only markets not controlled by the government. Okay. You can say they're neutrally, not hating on the governments, but that's as simple as that. The only way to get credit, the only way anyone's going to get credit is through DeFi. Okay, because by the time this is all said and done, the mortgage on your house and the bank account that you currently have with your bank, the Fed will have to absorb all those amounts. You know, a long time ago when we talked about dollar coin, we said that it may or may not work, but everyone would have an account at the Fed. Well, if nobody can pay their mortgage and no one can pay rent, then mortgage has to be refinanced. Okay, that means your mortgage will have to be absorbed by the Fed. So you need credit for any other reasons in DeFi. Okay, let's look Ether for 1 second. If you're following what I'm saying here, this whole crypto rally took off. Okay, absolutely took off the day Multicoin Cap, which is a big hedge fund, announced. All right, they were making a major investment in the DeFi space. And what I got out of it was that they were looking to create kind of like a WeChat of DeFi. Okay, and what did that? Ethereum was up like 3 straight weeks. Okay, this is the third up week for Ether. With Ether moving like this, historically, when you've watched the show, I've always been like, oh God, I need Ether. Oh God, I need Ether to lead. Finally, when I'm going through my coronavirus, depression, the way the rest of us has had, I go, wait a minute. Ether is leading. Okay. So I think the fact that the government is going to have to absorb so much means that Ether is the next way anyone gets credit or DeFi, okay, regardless of what it looks like. I even took a look at Litecoin. Okay, now I know Litecoin is everybody's favorite. Litecoin has returned to this 42 area, which is an area where bulls and bears have battled it out, going all the way back to December. All right. Can you imagine if Litecoin started following Ether, or this arrow that shows that Litecoin's got, I don't know, a month where it's going to maybe consolidate, and then all of a sudden move. Now I'm going to pull it up here quick. I'm not exactly sure how good it looks, but I also saw a headline. Okay, let me just recap first. What I'm saying is crypto's the only market not controlled by government. Crypto's the only way to get credit. Okay? And crypto also has the ability to start tokenizing assets. Okay? I saw something where T-Zero, which is a firm that's in New York, okay, and they wanted to create securitized assets. Okay. I noticed T-Zero was somehow using the Tezos blockchain to tokenize real estate. Okay. Now, in a world where central bank effectively might have to absorb large amounts of securities, and I'll get more about that. I can put my doctor on if you want me to. But this idea that some of these blockchains that are tradable on Coinbase could be available, okay, for tokenization and the restart of a free market. All right. Not Fidelity, but Blackstone and different places have released statements saying that they're going to offer for ETFs that only buy what the Fed buys. Does that sound like investing to you? Like, here's Tezos on Coinbase. Okay. It's effectively unwound the whole collapse from March. And then when I saw the T-Zero article, I said, oh, well, of course it is. That makes sense. Buying and selling assets, buying and selling real estate, anything has to be done on a blockchain outside the control of governments, because governments may have to absorb everything. So I know that was a lot, but that's how I would break it down.
I mean, yeah, thank you for that, Bill. I mean, I think So we're now getting closer to the Bitcoin halving. So how do you think all this kind of ties together? Do you think crypto is now trending up as we get closer to the halving? Then what do you think could possibly happen after that, after the second week of May? Okay, you can't hear me? Okay, did you hear me before?
I have you. I have you now. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm saying as we get closer to the Bitcoin halving, how do you think this affects crypto? Do you think things are trending upwards, and then once the halving happens, then things will kind of crash, or do you think we'll just kind of sail off into the sunset post halving?
You know, I love the way you put that. The halving becomes an opportunity for a headline, right? Like, you know, public may not be thinking about the Bitcoin. Even crypto hedge funds put all their money in cash and just said, I'm out. We're going to sit on the sidelines. Bitcoin halving may be the news event or the catalyst that gets everyone's head around back looking at crypto. Of course, we look at crypto. It's our living, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's an attention grabber, right? Right. So that's how I think the halving is going to come into play with Bitcoin.
All right. Well said, Bill. Okay. All right. So let's now go to the next segment here. So let's check in with the audience. Any questions you have for Bill, as we have Bill here? Let me take a look here. Okay, Brandy is saying don't buy gold because gold can be confiscated by the government.
I completely agree. I've always been a bigger fan of platinum.
Oh, platinum?
Because it's
okay.
it's both precious metal and an industrial metal to make cars. And guess who controls 50% of it? The Russians. So if there's a gold issue, as you pointed out,
Mm-hmm.
Platinum becomes the precious metal that can't be confiscated.
Okay, very interesting. So you're saying completely no gold, or you're saying to diversify into different precious metals as well?
Right. In other words, good luck getting physical gold. I mean, you can 2-ounce coins now. They may not be liquid.
Yeah.
So if I diversified into anything, it would be platinum. If you can find it.
Yeah, that's true.
Physical anything is gone. I mean, Texas's precious metals has got silver that coins I think. And I don't think that's really bad, but if we get to a point where you need a silver coin to buy food in Texas,
it's over.
I can go to these places to back up my crypto theories, but I just like platinum better.
Platinum, okay. First time I've heard that, I think. Because there's platinum, there is rhodium is the other one, the other precious metal. Something.
Yeah, there's palladium.
Palladium.
There's some of these metals. There are metals that frankly I don't know anything about.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Just I love that concept of platinum, because if central banks for a reason start running to precious metals, like I know the U.S. Mint shut down coin production, and I know that Canada has considered gold miners essential workers. So,
okay.
I mean,
now,
if central bankers are running towards gold and there's a confiscation issue, platinum will become both precious and industrial, and the Russians could take half the market in a day.
So basically, you're saying because Russians own half of the platinum out there in the world, there's no way the governments could confiscate it. Is that the argument or logic? It's kind of a hedge versus confiscation of gold from governments.
Yes, I lost you there for a minute, but yes, I would agree with that. That platinum kind of like, if you could somehow switch from gold to platinum, that might be a great way to diversify.
Okay, very interesting. Very interesting. All right, so let's take a question here from the comments. So James Lockyer says, "Hi, Bill and Ian. All the talk about Ethereum and DeFi, but no people realize that Neo has been planning this for years, and Neo 3.0 will advance this even more. Well, I mean, I would say the reason why nobody's really talking much about Neo is it's a blockchain, and there are lots of other blockchains out there that are also doing the same thing, but there's so much competition. And right now, in terms of assets being deployed towards a DeFi solution, Ethereum dominates the entire space. I haven't really heard many people talking about Neo as well. And I think because of Neo being based in China and the uncertainty around crypto, investing and trading in China probably also is extra risk. Now, even though our models and our team is pretty bullish on Neo long term, especially compared versus other projects like Ontology, but in terms of the short term, that I'm not really so sure. Any takes on that, Bill? On Neo?
Well, I mean, let's let me pull up the chart here and just talk off the cuff, if I may.
Okay, yeah.
I think, you know, what's going on between the U.S. and China is extremely serious. Meaning, the question is whether I don't think there's a question this virus was made in a lab or not. Okay, I don't think anyone thinks that anymore. I'm looking at the chart. You know, Neo looks okay. It doesn't look bad, terrible. It looks kind of like Ether, where it's just kind of making its wake up. Okay, I do think that there's going to be a market in China potentially, where, you know, people are going to need DeFi, but you have to remember something. The government is controlling everything over there now, and that is only going to get worse. In other words, if they accidentally created this and let out, that's bad. If they made it and let it out somehow on purpose, that's even worse. So Neo is something really interesting to look at if you read just what's being said about who's and why, and say, hey, this might be a great outlet for DeFi for Asia, period. Right. Unfortunately, there's a super dark scenario underneath it as to why it could become popular.
Makes sense. Okay, let's go to the next question here. Let me pull this up real quick. Okay, yeah, people are saying there's feedback from your computer, Bill. Not sure if you have speakers on as well, or if the audio is from something else, but there's some kind of feedback going on.
All right, let me try just the computer audio. Is that working?
Yeah, that's actually better, I believe.
Okay,
all right. So people asking who's Bill. Bill has been in the crypto space for some time. I think now 2 years. Former trader and analyst at Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Now in crypto. Okay, yes, we've solved that issue with the echo. Let me just take a look here. Okay, people are talking about the hacks on DeFi platforms. So yeah, I find that very, very interesting. So for those who don't know, recently, actually 1 or 2 days ago, DeFi Pulse said something about a hack. So this project was called DeForce, and Multicoin, who Bill just mentioned earlier, also invested in them. So let me just pull up the article here and share with everybody. So it says, this is from CoinDesk. Weekend attack drains decentralized protocol DeForce of $25 million in crypto. So they lost over 99% of their money. And the way it happened, if I can just delve through here. So it says early speculation from other DeFi protocol builders said the attack was caused by IMBTC, an Ethereum token pegged 1-to-1 with Bitcoin, used as collateral that turned out to be fraudulent, enabling the attacker to drain funds for nearly free. So it seems this token that was supposed to be pegged to Bitcoin ended up being just a pure scam, and the hacker took funds for free. Then, so Compound CEO Robert Leshner chimed in and says that, so this project allegedly forked the code of Compound from version 1 and that code, the CEO claims, was secure, but you had to be very strict in terms of what cryptocurrencies you allowed to work on that platform. And this startup, which basically took their open source code and raised funds from Multicoin Capital, now in less than a week, in the same week that Multicoin announced their investment in them, I think the investment was for, they were lead investors in a round of 1.5 million, and now the entire project has been hacked, which is incredible. Bill, what's your take on this? Do you think this is good or bad for DeFi?
Well, this is going to sound shocking. Hopefully everybody can hear me better now, but I think it's great for DeFi, right? We've always said this in crypto, and it's more true now than ever. If criminals are using it or trying to get at it, it's worth something. And I don't believe in coincidences to begin with, and I definitely don't believe in coincidences in this world. So I don't know who hacked DeFi, okay, or DeForce. The fact that they did it right after Multicoin made the investment.
Yeah.
Somebody doesn't want DeFi out there, or somebody has really funny timing. I just think that by the time, if governments have to absorb entire stock markets, entire real estate markets, how are you going to get credit if you don't go to some centralized authority? It could be a group of banks that have to be pulled together, 12 months down the road, right? Once upon a time, it used to be like, okay, your survival rations were like your Campbell's soup, your gold, your shotgun, your freezer for meat or whatever. That was the old survival pack. Okay, great. If you have that, yeah, good for you. Now, what's the survival pack for the next 12 months? Well, it's got to be Ether and Tezos. So the fact that, somebody hacked it, okay, yeah, that's really unfortunate, but somebody hacked it because it's really one of the only ways to keep people free.
Well said, well said. Now, so my take in terms of what's happening with this article, when Multicoin invested in them, it made them a target. Right. As a person who's also been out here in the public eye and has been hacked and lost money, I can definitely sympathize with them. And I think long term, right now, short term, it's bad for DeFi, in my opinion, because it makes people more nervous and concerned. But this is something we've mentioned before in past shows, because when it comes to using DeFi, it's very, very risky. There's lots of, even though it's allegedly non-custodial, there's still lots of risks. When you lock up your funds in a smart contract, or when you use a smart contract, we've seen lots and lots of glitches, lots and lots of hacks, especially with the flash loans. And I don't think this will be the last. So if anything, this hits the point home even more. Diversify and try to spread your risk across lots of different platforms. So for instance, if you're doing stablecoin lending with DAI on DeFi, I would not have all my eggs in one platform. I would spread the risk across different DeFi platforms, and I would also spread that risk across centralized platforms like Celsius, for example. So I think it's something every investor and anybody in crypto should definitely factor in. There's risk in everything. There is no free lunch, no matter what the projects tell you. All right. Okay, let me just see here what we have next. Okay. All right, so just a quick announcement here. We have added new projects on Token Metrics. So if you go to tokenmetrics.com, we've added Paxos Gold, because lots of people have been talking and speculating about gold, especially in times like this, during this pandemic. So Paxos Gold, the official review, is now on the platform, and we also send out a very in-depth report to our customers on our email list. So if you're a customer, just check your email. Then we've also added Insular and Chromia. Those are two projects that were also added. So all in all, 3 projects in the past week. And then coming up, we'll be adding CeeLo, which is doing its public sale or offering on CoinList. We'll be adding Cartesi, Not sure if I'm pronouncing that the right way. That's the upcoming Binance IEO in May. Then we'll also be adding Solana. So these are 3 projects that have been getting lots of hype on social media, lots of interest from our customers. So we'll be adding those official ratings on our platform. And I think for almost all 3 of them, we'll also be doing in-depth reports and emailing those out to our customers. So if you have any interest in this project and you haven't yet joined Token Metrics, I highly encourage you to sign up today, because all these ratings and projects will be reviewed in the coming weeks. All right, so now it's time for us to hop into the Ask Me Anything. So this portion, we're taking all questions from our forum. So if you haven't yet already, once again, go to forum.tokenmetrics.com to join. We already have an active community here. We have more than 300, almost 400 people have joined in the past few weeks. So it's already very active. Quite surprisingly, it's already active than most crypto forums. So for instance, I believe it's more active than the MakerDAO forum already. MakerDAO has about 300 something people as well, and more active than some other crypto projects. So definitely make sure you go here and join, ask your questions. So let me just pick some questions here. Let's see if we can pick a question Bill can chime in with. Let me take a look at this. Okay. All right, so here's one question. So the title is Investing Approach for Crypto. This comes from AG. Hello, everyone. I started reading Insider Buy Stocks from Jesse Stein over the last couple of weeks, and I've been finding some of the things he mentions in there quite useful when it comes to research and investigation. I wanted to know if there are any resources, books, or courses you recommend in order to become savvier when it comes to crypto investing. What's your take on this, Bill? Any books or resources you recommend for anybody who has an interest in trading or investing?
Well, I don't think there's an all-encompassing, like, how to trade crypto book. I'm going to look on Amazon right now. I can't remember the title offhand of what I read when I first started. Okay. I think the best books to read about crypto are the old stock market books, like Reminiscence of a Stock Operator and The Truth of the Stock Tape, which I think was by William Gann. Okay. I've been doing my own research lately, and I'm looking it up now. Crypto is very much like what stocks were like in the 20s and during the Depression. Okay. So, I guess if you have time on your hands, yes, it's Truth of the Stock Tape. So if you had time on your hands and you wanted to learn about trading and investing like volatile markets like crypto, okay, I actually tell people to read the old stock market books.
Okay, let me see.
Okay, and the crypto book I read, thanks for bearing with me on this. It's called Crypto Assets, The Innovative Investor's Guide to Bitcoin and Beyond.
That's by Chris Bernitzky.
Yes.
No? Okay, yeah. So actually,
right. So that's the, Ian was asking me. So I got into crypto in March of 2017. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's what I picked up to try to figure out the lingo.
Okay, so we have Reminiscence of a Stock Operator. So this book is about trading stocks in the early days?
Right. It's about a guy named Jesse Livermore, who was kind of like one of the first super traders. Okay, so it's a fictional book featuring his life and what he did. So it's kind of a classic. Some of this stuff was considered so arcane that nobody read them anymore. Mm-hmm. But I think you could actually pick up tips on trading crypto because the methods of these guys are so effective in looking at crypto. Okay. And then, I think you can get a lot of, I don't know, I guess I'd call it supplemental help from crypto Twitter, right? I mean, Crypto Twitter has a lot of noise, but Crypto Twitter does have a lot of chart guys, who have some worth. And you have to find those,
Yeah.
You have to sort of find those on our own. We're all about endorsing Token Metrics.
Definitely.
But if you're going to read old school books, you would supplement it with new school Token Metrics and Crypto Twitter.
So I'll just add in. So I have read the book Crypto Assets. I found I would say if you're brand new in crypto, it's definitely a good book. But if you've been in crypto for some time, it's not really, in my opinion, the best book. It does kind of get into the weeds as well, but it does give a good perspective and overview. Now, one book I like in terms of investing, I would say any book by Howard Marks, in my opinion. So I would say The Most Important Thing is one book, and Mastering the Market Cycle. I prefer The Most Important Thing. Probably the best investment book I personally have read, and I've read many of them. It was so good, I've actually told my younger brother in college to read this book because he's trying to get into investing. I think for anybody out there who's a value investor, this is definitely a good book. So this book is definitely not for any trading or anybody who's trying to speculate. Then I would also add his other book, Mastering the Market Cycle. This is also a good book as well. If I just pull this up here. So I would say for any long-term investors, time frame being 3 years or longer, or even ideally 10 years, these two books, Mastering the Market Cycle and The Most Important Thing, in my opinion, are very, very good books on investing. All right, great questions. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, how long do we have you for, Bill?
As long as you need me.
Oh wow. Okay, awesome. Okay, so here's the next question. This one I'm probably gonna butcher. Okay, so the question is about Chamath Palihapitiya, who's the CEO of Social Capital, and he's been on TV a lot. And this person is saying, anyone read the annual letter by Social Capital? And anyone share the views shared here by Chamath? I think he seems a changer. I'm just trying to read through his writing here. I think he seems a changer in effect of these modern times. Okay, let me just go through this. So he had an interview on Bloomberg. For anyone who doesn't know him, he's a billionaire from Silicon Valley with small companies, joined Facebook, left as a rich man, began doing his own thing. He's investing in climate change. His home runs have been Slack and Yammer, etc. So basically he's asking what's our take on his annual letters and his investing strategy and his take on, I'll just kind of make this more general. So for those who haven't seen, he went on CNBC and basically said the following. If I can play this.
Halftime report. Are you arguing to let airlines, for example, fail?
Yes.
Why? I mean, how does that make sense in the broader scheme of the economy?
Because when you look at what it means, this is why I'm saying, this is a lie that's been purported by Wall Street. When a company fails, it does not fire their employees. It goes through a packaged bankruptcy, right? If anything, what happens is the people who have the pensions inside those companies, the employees of these companies, end up owning more of the company.
Okay, so that kind of sums up his take on the current pandemic. So essentially there are two questions. First question is really about his investing strategy with Social Capital. And I think the other, just to kind of make it more general and broad for everybody, is should all the airline companies and travel companies fail?
Okay, so I have to punt on Social Capital because I'm not up on it. But I think this is airline discussion, or this comment is a perfect way to expand this topic of governments absorbing everything, right? When the government bailed out Wall Street in 2008 could and could not do so many things. The government essentially told us what we could and could not do, right? I mean, everyone had to take $10 billion from the Fed to stop the run on the banks. And at that point, all proprietary trading and everything inside the banks changed. Now, if the government's got to bail out airlines, just make your whole list of industries. Okay, we're in month 1 of this. What happens when we're in month 12? So this is the point the guy's trying to make, right?
Right.
If airlines need to fail and be reorganized and bought by somebody with cash, let them, right? Not let them in the sense that the hell with the people and the hell with the workers. He's trying to say how the system should function. He doesn't want government absorption of everything. He doesn't want bailouts of everything. He's arguing more for traditional economics. Okay, I would argue it's too late, man. They already started in 2008, and they could turn on the printing press at any moment, and they have done so, right? Mm-hmm. So what you may want to happen, based on your economics education, is one thing. What is happening is they're going to absorb everything. And that's got to put the whole world in crypto. That's why crypto, other than following stocks, I think this is going to be the ultimate litmus test. If stocks stabilize, crypto can move. Now, stocks turn over, we all got problems. We know that.
Right, yeah.
But if you want to have money outside of any money, anything outside of government control in 12 months, it's got to be blockchain and crypto driven.
I agree. I mean, so I myself also don't really know much about social capital. All I know is he was working with Richard Branson, and it's a publicly traded company now. They're planning to go to space and the moon with the project or company rather they put together. But so I can't really comment much on social capital's investing thesis because I haven't really read any of that. Now, to go about what Bill was talking about should airlines fail? So I was talking with my friend, also in crypto, but also heavily in stocks. So his strategy is he's out of all the indices because he thinks they'll crash, but he thinks there'll be individual stocks that will be ready to do well post-pandemic. So, for example, companies like Netflix, Zoom, essentially all the companies that will survive and thrive in an era where there's lots of social distancing and lots of people are working at home. Now, he's saying he cannot imagine the American government will let Boeing fail because that's a national security hazard. Because Boeing builds so many things for the government, for the CIA, the NSA, that they can't just let that fail and have some other third-party company outside of America or even any government come in and buy them up. Because they know way too much about the American industrial complex and really just anything to do with wars and fighting. Boeing is heavily involved in that. So he's saying that he's actually betting on it to be saved by a bailout because it's a national security threat if some other entity would buy them in a bankruptcy hearing, for example. Which
I think that's just completely correct. I think airlines is the same thing, right? Infrastructure, national security, defense, and frankly, I think that includes, not, some people's mortgages, right? Like, people can't even get their $1,200 checks, mm-hmm. and that may or may not help most people make a mortgage, and the banks are going to take everyone's houses and do what with them?
Right.
So, what this guy is saying, if you start with airlines, you have to do everything. And I'm like, yeah, exactly. I'm a crypto guy. Party on, boys. Party on.
Yeah, I mean, because I would say the libertarian in me, the free market capitalist in me, definitely does see what he's saying. But there's no way politicians would let that happen because their job is to stay in office once they're elected. And they'll do whatever it takes to not get voted out of office. So, yeah, I think as Bill mentioned, we've been doing it already. The fact that they've told us publicly that they'll keep on printing money infinitely, as much as they deem is needed, there's no way they can now say we're out of money. because now the cat's out of the bag. Now people will just say, just print more money.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought. I mean, here's what I tell people. This is my sort of joke. I think somebody called the National Review. I believe, I don't have it pulled up right here. They wrote an article that for the Fed and the Treasury to make good on the obligations from Social Security and Medicare, the Fed was going to have to print 89 trillion. Their balance sheet before this was like 4 or 5. Okay, so if they were going to have to do 89, another 8 to 10 is nothing. It's nothing.
Nothing. Chump change.
I mean, they've already done it. I mean, the stock market's 14, 15 trillion, no problem. We'll take it all down. You know, if it goes down to 0, great. We'll just, we'll take it. You know, I think that's people's attitude about the stock market now, is that they're saying, the Fed's down there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
it could have more downside, but they took down junk bonds.
Okay, so let's go to the next question here.
Sure.
Let's actually take some questions here from YouTube, or rather from everywhere. So we see here people talking about Ethereum coming back to 1100. I'm not so sure about that, at least short term, but long term, definitely think Ethereum will definitely go back to its all-time high. Can we get a live Bitcoin price graphic on screen? I'll have to work on that. I have to see how we can do that through OBS. Okay, James says, lots of people talking about getting into gold this year. Just don't jump ship too soon. Bitcoin and crypto will outperform again. Just look over the past 10 years. Fully agree. I mean, our earlier comments, definitely not saying we're getting out of crypto into gold, but I was saying gold is a good way to diversify and be part of a healthy portfolio. So having a small portion in gold. But then Bill also chimed in and said having lots of other precious metals like platinum, for example, as well, in case gold gets confiscated. Then we have Crypto Mom saying, I am a MD, PhD, who did research with deadly viruses. SARS-CoV-2 is not man-made. All right. I think that's maybe in response to what Bill said earlier. I mean, I think so as well. I mean, obviously, I'm no PhD in viruses, but I think so. This part is kind of tough because you have lots of people, even some people in the crypto community, who think that COVID-19 COVID-19 was man-made. I don't think it was man-made, but I think it possibly could have come from a lab. Now, obviously, I'm just speculating. This is an answer nobody will really know. But the fact that there was a viruses lab in Wuhan, and that's where it came from, I think maybe it came from a lab testing-wise, and maybe it escaped from the lab, or whether that was purpose or by accident, who knows? But I also do think it did come from nature, but I think that there was some human intervention involved, whether on purpose or by accident, that led it to blowing up. But I'm just purely speculating. What do you think, Bill? Any thoughts on that?
All right. Well, yeah, I got plenty to say about this.
Right. Don't hold back.
Zero Hedge, which is, a very, very big blog, published a study by a group of scientists very early in this crisis, really when people were panicking, I think. And they published a study basically saying that, this was not exactly natural, that this had man-made properties. And Zero Hedge was permanently banned from Twitter for harassment, for writing an article about a bunch of Chinese scientists, which, of course, as you might anticipate, haven't been heard from again. And then somebody called the Epoch Times did a 55-minute documentary where, they presented what I would call their research on the subject, citing, a doctor who had been from that lab, who had been writing scientific papers. Okay. So I'm not a doctor, okay, but, you go back a month ago and I was saying that this was serious and it was going to have huge impacts. Okay. So what's my encore? All right. Well, I'm still not a doctor. Okay. But I'm still not a doctor. But whether you take the example of like the Spanish flu, right, where, you know, they sort of went back to work too early and continued to spread, or if you take this idea advocated by the blogosphere that, you know, this could have been made in a lab, this is not going away. That's my view. Now, our viewer who thinks it's found in nature, well, that's fantastic because nature has a remedy for it. So that's the best news I've heard. That's the best news for humanity that there could possibly be. Okay. The problem is, you know, again, my understanding with the Wuhan seafood market is that it no longer exists, right? And nobody knows who patient zero is. Normally, if you watch all the pandemic movies, they search for patient zero or they search for the absolute source. So if it came from that seafood market's not there anymore. No. Okay. So again, you know, when you see the government acting, if it was the flu, governments wouldn't be absorbing everything. You can like reverse engineer a view, right? So I really hope this person is right. Seriously.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. All right. So going on, let's go back to questions from the forum. Let me see a question here we can find. Just give me 1 minute. All right, here we go. This is a question that gets asked a lot, but still makes sense to ask. All right, so this comes from Satoshi DZ. If you have $10,000, how are you going to invest it? The goal here is to achieve 1 million in the next bull run. And is it possible? I would love to get your thoughts. Okay, so let me see if I can rephrase that. So you're saying to get $10,000 and turn that to $1 million in the next bull run. I mean, that's basically 100x. So basically the question is how to get a 100x investment. Definitely a tough goal to achieve. I mean, me personally, I've done it before, but it wasn't easy. There's definitely a method to the madness. But before I kind of chime in, Bill, do you want to kind of show how maybe you would invest $10,000 to try to turn that into $1 million?
Okay, well, you are the 100x guy, so I'd have to punt on how to create 100x.
Okay.
The first thing that popped into my mind was, you know, if Tezos is a vehicle, if T0 can use Tezos to securitize assets, and again, the blockchain science, I don't know, I just saw the article.
Okay.
You know, if Tezos is at $1, Tezos could be worth 100.
Right.
So that could be that's just an example of a 100x return. And I'm sure somewhere out there, somebody's going to solve the DeFi question. And if you can find that, that's probably 1,000x return.
Absolutely. Okay. So, I mean, the way I would do it is like this. So first of all, I'll subscribe to Token Metrics. So if you haven't yet already, we built this platform just to answer questions like this. Because as we mentioned before, we're very bullish on Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the high cap projects. However, I mean, looking at all the empirical evidence and studies, there is a reason why it makes sense to diversify and be a value investor when it comes to low cap projects. Because historically speaking, if you look at factor investing, one of the 5 factors that has shown to deliver alpha and positive returns has been investing in low cap investments, whether it's on stocks or equities, and we think the same can be applied in crypto. Now, when it comes to crypto, the difference is not investing in shitcoins. Because yes, we get dirty and we go out there dumpster diving, and there's a lot of garbage out there, but the goal is to find those hidden gems, and those hidden gems do exist. If you're able to build a system and find those hidden gems very quickly, then that's how you get the 100x returns. Now, I would say, with that being said, though, in the last bull run back in 2017 and end of January 2018, some of them we got lucky because everything was going up. But to really get a 100x return, you have to outperform the market. And you have to, by definition, be doing what the market is not doing. And that means looking at projects pre-market and also looking at projects already on the market. Now, our entire system, we've codified it and made it available to our customers on Token Metrics. But at a high level, this is the way we value invest and try to find projects that can possibly do a 100x return. One, find great projects through fundamental analysis. We're looking at over 74 different data points. We're doing very in-depth code reviews. We have developers on the team going through looking at the code, then also looking at the team. So value investing in crypto is different from value investing in stocks because there are no financials. You have some people who look at on-chain metrics and data. We don't really do that because that can only be done for most of the high cap projects. Some of these projects we're looking at are pre-market. They're not even trading on exchanges yet. So that there is no on-chain data to look at. You have to look at the team, their experience, the technology, if they have any code on GitHub. All of that is available on Token Metrics. But let's say you find a project. Then you have to say, okay, does it have any competition? And what is the market pricing its competition? So for instance, if you're looking at a blockchain, so for example, Blockstack. Blockstack is a project that is rated very high on Token Metrics. Looking at the fundamentals, last time we checked, Blockstack's market cap was around 30 million or so. Now we have to then factor in, okay, where can Blockstack go? Blockstack is competing with Ethereum, with Bitcoin, with Zilliqa. What is the market pricing these projects at? So if, for example, Ethereum is over $1 billion. So assuming no dilution, obviously this is not perfect, but where can Blockstack go in terms of market cap and price? Can it, because if Blockstack had no inflation, which is obviously impossible, but if it has no inflation and it does 100x, that would give it a market cap of 3 billion. Now you have to factor in, okay, what happens if there's inflation and there's dilution and more cryptocurrency or tokens, or rather most tax tokens are being introduced into the supply? What would be its overall market cap after it's achieved after all the tokens are out there in the market? So taking all this as a factor, but I would say looking at where the current market is pricing competing projects, and if we think this project is a better project, then long term we're basically placing a bet that we think this will have a higher market cap than X, Y, and Z project. Now, we're not saying Blockstack is better than Ethereum, for example, but we could say maybe we think Blockstack is better than other projects that are maybe in the top 25 to 50 market cap. And we think if Blockstack were to grow, then we think this could be better than that. So that's kind of the method to our madness. But to make things easy, everything is just purely on our website, tokenmetrics.com. So let me know what you guys think. Does that make sense? Was I just rambling way too much? But that is a common question that comes up. Going back to the question of how would somebody invest $10,000? I think if you have $10,000, you have to diversify. You would have to invest, I think, for me personally, more than, you would have to have a portfolio with minimum 10 cryptocurrencies. So meaning $1,000 into each crypto. I would not put everything into one basket. It's crypto, you definitely have to diversify. I would have some into the high caps, so kind of like Bitcoin, Ethereum, but I would also have a few, maybe 2 or 3 different low cap altcoins in there. And the ones we talked about are Blockstack, Matic Network. We have some others coming up, especially this month. This month, there's a resurgence of the IEO space, and there have been some products we like. I would probably add even Paxos Gold in there. Our review was pretty positive in terms of fundamentals. Tech-wise, it's not really decentralized, so that is concerning because it is a regulated gold-backed cryptocurrency, and regulators can freeze and take control of somebody's funds. So it's not really a typical blockchain project, but that's what you get in exchange for regulation. But I would say either having something like that or just regular gold or even other precious metals. But there aren't really any precious metals backed cryptocurrencies besides the gold ones, to my knowledge. But in general, if you're purely investing in crypto, I would say minimum 10 different cryptocurrencies, and go to tokenmetrics.com and see their top 10 list we have for long-term investing. And I think that's probably the best way to go, in my opinion. But as usual, not any kind of investing or financial advice, just what I would do personally. All right, a Okay, so any comments on that, Bill?
No, I think you set it up perfectly. I mean, here's how I would talk about altcoins.
Okay.
There was the old world, right? And then that's how you evaluated altcoins, and some of them were shit coins and some of them weren't. And here's the deal. We're not going back to that world, folks. We're not going back. There's going to be a new normal, right? Assuming we're not keeping everyone locked in their house forever, once that ends, it will be a new normal. Okay, that means that cryptos that are out there that didn't work in the old normal may work in the new one, which is why you want to have your Token Metrics subscription, right? Because we can detect when these things are going to start moving. When they start moving, our systems will pick up on it, right? So finance into itself is going to reconstitute itself on a blockchain. Now, where crypto prices have to go before that happens, I don't know. But it's going to happen. This is why crypto was built. And in terms of $10,000, it's not a 100x idea. And try not to laugh, but I would have $500 or $1,000 on a gift card at a local grocery store or big box retailer. And here's why. Can you imagine what happens if cash carries the virus and then there's a problem with the banks or some sort of, computer failure with the banks? How are you going to pay for anything? Mm-hmm. Well, if you had a $500 gift card to the grocery store, you could go in and pay with that if they wouldn't take cash and your debit card and your credit card didn't work. So I know that's not 100x, but
yeah.
If you got to eat,
you have to eat.
You have to eat, right?
Now, once again, I don't own any gold, but I have been looking more and more and doing more research into precious metals because I think it's a hedge. It's a hedge against the markets, but also a hedge against crypto because all of us think crypto is going to the moon and beyond. I mean, I've been called a moon boy, so I'm definitely not off the rocket ship. However, we have to try to mitigate as many risks as possible. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, gold has been a pretty stable store of value. And now Bill has also talked about platinum and others, so it does make sense to look more and more into all these different investments. So one of the questions somebody asks here is actually about the hidden secrets of money. I'm not sure if anybody else has seen it. I did have a chance to finally watch the series. This is by Mike Maloney, who does sell gold. I think he owns a site goldsilver.com, I think. So anyway, he obviously does have an interest in having people buy gold. But I did watch the series. It's about, I think it's 8 episodes. The span is about half an hour each. Pretty well produced, but they do go through the history of money and gold and why they think gold is great. Now Mike Maloney has also come around and is also into crypto and pro-crypto. So he does view Bitcoin as a form of digital gold, unlike other people like Peter Schiff. So have you seen this series, Bill?
Well, I have not seen the series, but I can add to the gold and the silver discussion, right? So, silver to me is interesting because, I follow Texas Precious Metals. So they have silver. They have their own silver rounds that they make. Now, why would silver matter? Well, it doesn't have the gold confiscation risk. Okay. And you can take silver or gold. And eventually you're going to have facilities where you can deposit your silver or gold, hopefully safe from confiscation, because I don't think the government's going to confiscate silver and platinum. Now, let's just say you have an inflationary environment and silver goes from 16 to 100. Right? It's not a ridiculous thing. Silver was, could go to 50 easily. Now, if a loaf of bread is $15, you might be able to have like a home equity loan. You'd have your silver in a facility and you'd be allowed to write checks against your precious metals. Like that is no doubt that was already out there. Mm-hmm. And I think, or was proposed for, say, the state of Texas, but I think that's also going to be the new collateral, right? When we talk about finance now, what's the new collateral? It's not your house, it's not your car, right? So I'm thinking ether, silver, platinum.
There you go. There you go. Thank you, Bill. Let us know what you think. Do you think, or do you like the series Hidden Secrets of Money? Do you think silver and platinum and gold are good hedges, or just all in on crypto? Let us know in the comments down below. All right, let's go on to the next question here. Okay, so we already answered that about Tika. Okay, so this is a question we've also kind of answered as well, but we'll just answer this question again. So this question is coming from the Token Metrics forum. If you haven't yet joined, go to forum.tokenmetrics.com. We go through here every single week and we get questions from our community. So the question is, favorite staking altcoins. What's your favorite staking altcoin? Please tell us why. We have Tezos, Cosmos, Icon, VeChain, OneChain. My favorite future staking coins are Ethereum, ADA, Matic Network, and One. Okay, I mean, so the ones I know on that list that we do like, we definitely do like Cosmos, Tezos as well, but we like Cosmos the best. Out of all, I would say Cosmos and Matic Network are the top two staking coins we like, besides Ethereum, right? Almost everybody likes Ethereum, so those are the ones on that list. I know Bill likes Tezos a lot. He's been talking about that on the show and also in past shows as well. Any other staking coins you like, Bill?
Well, I mean, I would defer on that to Token Metrics, right? Like,
yeah,
you don't have to pick the staking coin. You just let the Token Metrics models beep and say, "Oh, look, this staking coin is moving, right? Or this staking coin just blipped, right?" In other words, you know, let's put it this way: if I had told you in December, even though I took this virus thing way serious, if I had told you in December we would all be locked in our house and GDP would be down 20% by tax day, I would have been off the show. Right? So if you project out, if you say, okay, we can have another surprise like that every 3-4 months, somewhere in there, a staking coin could move, or staking coins that don't make it could crash, right? That's the thing about building a new future, right? Like, you know, in technology, it was winner take all, right? Just Google Netscape, first internet browser, gone, right? So, you know, creative destruction happens. So it's really tough to say, oh yeah, we do like Cosmos and we do like Tezos, right? But I can't promise you that those are going to be perfect, given that we're going to have a gigantic surprise every 4 months until further notice.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, so that's why we have the platform. So we do all our research and we make it available privately on that platform. So anybody can go there and see what we like at the moment based on lots of different data points. Okay, all right. Let's take some questions here from the audience as well. Once again, Chris is asking, what website can you buy gold on? I don't own any gold, so I wouldn't be the best to answer. But from my initial research, the main companies that keep coming up that people seem to be recommending are, I think JM Bullion he talked about. I think it was Brian. Then the other one was AppMax. And I did download this cool app. It seems kind of like the Coinbase of buying gold. It was called One Gold. Now, I haven't personally used the app yet, but it does really look like Coinbase for gold, or rather Coinbase for precious metals. They have gold, platinum, silver, and it's a mobile app as well. Haven't used it, but they have an option to dollar cost average into precious metals. But definitely do your own research. Do you own any precious metals, Bill? And are you able to chime in terms of
I don't, but I did for a while. I use Tex Metals. I've actually been to the facility, bought and sold through them. Okay. And they actually make their own silver round, which they give you great liquidity on, right? Mm-hmm. Because, you know, That's the whole thing. It's easy to buy precious metals, but what if you have to sell them?
Right. Very true.
So,
Very true.
so they give you preferential treatment on liquidity on their own rounds.
And to kind of add on to my comments earlier, buying locally is also very good, especially if you're going to physically hold the gold. All right. Next comments here. Okay, so James says he saw the series. It was good. Gold right now is doing okay, says Desiree. Okay. It's also on Amazon. Somebody is saying diversify. All right. What's our take on Bitcoin vaults? Is that the credit card for crypto? I think we talked about that on the last show, I believe. Okay, Crypto Mom is saying you have no facts that suggest SARS came out of that. SARS-CoV-2, basically COVID-19, came out of a lab. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely just pure speculation. So, I mean, I definitely do not have any facts in terms of what happened. I don't think anybody will have any of the facts because, I mean, whatever happened in China, no one will know except the Chinese government. I'm definitely not a conspiracy theorist by any measure, but I was just in a way speculating with what could possibly happen.
Right, and the key to what Ian just said is the first thing he said is we don't have the facts.
Yeah, I don't think anybody will.
It doesn't make for exciting TV to say we don't have the facts and now move on, right? but we do not have the facts at all.
Yeah. Whoever has the facts is probably, unfortunately, locked up somewhere in China.
Right.
Okay, all right. Back to the questions here from the forum. Okay, let me see which ones we could answer. Okay, sorry, just give me 1 second here. Okay, I think we may have answered most of the major questions people have on the forum here. So if you have any questions you want us to answer, please chime in. Just post in the comments. Also be sure to like, subscribe, and thumbs up. And share with your friends if you like the live stream. Okay, so yeah, I'll just take questions from the audience because I think we've answered most of the questions on the forum. Okay. Thoughts on gaming coins like Phantasma? I was an investor and advisor to Phantasma, but I don't think I have any more. If I do, I definitely should sell if I still have any Phantasma. But I mean, Phantasma is a decent low cap project, but it hasn't been performing as well as we all hoped. But the team has been actively developing, so that part is good. All right, so I think let me chime in with my thoughts on what's happening with stablecoins, because not sure if everybody heard, but stablecoins are looking to be regulated. So let me just pull up the article here. This was recently in the news. So stablecoins have not been banned yet, but it does look like it's heading that way. Let me just find a good article here. So this comes from Crypto Briefing, which is a crypto news site. Okay, so here we go. All right, so it says central banks recommended to ban stablecoins. So central banks push for heavy-duty regulation of centralized, privately issued global stablecoins and consider prohibiting decentralized ones. And this comes from the Financial Stability Board, the FSB, and they've recommended this to G20 economies and countries, or rather central banks, telling them that stablecoins, including Tether, Coinbase's USDC, Pax, DAI, all these stablecoins should be regulated and controlled by the banks because they view them as a threat. Now, lots of people have saying this is good for Bitcoin. My take is tough. Yes, I think long term it is good for Bitcoin and crypto because people can now really see why having decentralization is good. So for all the people who are in a way anti-government, it's positive for crypto. But I think it's also positive for some of the other stablecoins. So Gemini Dollar, Coinbase and their stable coins. The fact that they're regulated, I think, and they'll definitely appease the regulators in that fashion, being able to have KYC, AML, being able to freeze people's funds on the blockchain and take them back. I know some people, I would say most people in crypto don't like that, but to appease regulations and regulators and to be compliant, that's being done in all the cryptocurrencies out there. I think Facebook Libra is also doing the same thing as well. Don't quote me on that, but long term, this has been something that I think is going to be a challenge for DeFi to take off, because DeFi is really decentralized. And I've joked before on the show that I don't see a world in where Al Qaeda can get a flash loan to borrow millions of dollars without putting any collateral, speculate on that on a DEX with no KYC or AML, make a bunch of money, then use that to fund terrorist attacks. I don't see a world where that happens and regulators don't come in to stop it. Now, obviously, that's just kind of a way to exaggerate what's happening, or rather what could happen in crypto. But I think that the fact that it's essentially the wild, wild west, and anybody can come in and speculate and make money with no regulation, with no checks and balances, makes it very tough for DeFi to take off. And especially with hacks happening as well. Because lots of people like to say we want free markets. And crypto is a free market. But we saw what happened with ICOs. Once people began losing their money, they all went back to the SEC asking for these same companies to be locked up. So I think I don't really believe in this fairy tale world of complete anarchy. I think it has to be balanced. It has to be two sides to each coin. I think we have to find common ground between regulators and technology and innovation. So that's my take on it. I'm pro regulated stablecoins because at the end of the day, you want to make sure your money is there, because we've seen what's happened with Tether. Tether has taken their reserves and used them to run their business, and people have complained about it. And then DAI is good, but DAI has been hacked. It's had issues as well. So at the end of the day, having balance is crucial. So that's kind of my take. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm between total anarchy and total regulation. What do you think, Bill?
All right, so let's talk about what used to be a problem and what's now a problem, right? So whether or not whether or not a government can take your money or put a lien on your house, 6 months ago we were all like, ooh, that's a big problem. That's not a big problem anymore, right? If they want to make sure stable coins are good, fine. If they want to make sure Facebook Libra, either functions a certain way or does or doesn't do something, not a problem, right? I don't think stable coins are going away. And if they regulate them, fine. It just makes it easier for Joe Public to use it, because how is crypto going to go to the moon? Joe Public has to be involved. So the government has to protect Joe Public by making sure the stable coins are okay. Now, they may have to do things that, don't fit libertarian doctrine, but folks, the bugs out there. Godzilla has landed in Tokyo. You know what I'm saying? Those problems aren't problems anymore. The problems are, what money can you trust? What money is or is not controlled, completely controlled by a government? And how can you get credit, right? This is the key, right? Everyone thinks about crypto as money, as speculation. I'm thinking about it as the future of collateral, right? And not just that, but how you get assets bought and sold on a blockchain, right? Real estate investing may be, you buy some tokens and you own a teeny portion of a skyscraper. That may be the only way to get liquidity in real estate.
Yeah.
So, in other words, those old problems where, like, say, for example, if you look at a firm like Chainalysis, right, where they would write, a lot of really good work on how regulators were using their software to fight crime on blockchains. Okay, I was like, that stuff would come in my inbox. I'd be on like the edge of my seat, right? Now, okay, yes, we want to protect the people, of course, right? But is that the biggest problem in the world? No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, because I've also kind of said before, everybody wants total freedom until they start losing money. So, I mean, so when people get hacked, they want somebody either hacked or there's theft or just any bad things happen to their money. They want to have somebody who's policing the bad guy. And that needs regulation, because if it's a total free market, like what happened with the hack with D-Force. Imagine this anonymous hacker just stole $25 million of people's money, and he tells them, code is law, bro. That's it. Tough luck. I mean, people don't like that. I mean, these same people who were involved in DeFi on D-Force, I'm pretty sure they want to get their money back. I'm pretty sure they want to have some kind of justice. And that means maybe getting FBI involved or whoever, right? As somebody who's lost $2.5 million in a hack, I mean, I was the first one to say, welcome FBI, please help me. Because at the end of the day, you want somebody who can help you. And also you want customer support. You want a human. Because going into a world where it's just code is law is a dangerous world where, I mean, bad actors can take advantage of it and just say code is law. I mean, I don't think that's the case. But hey, let us know what you think.
The rule of law is at the core of any economic system, right? Like, you got to have the rule of law to some degree, meaning the primary job of government is to protect the people, right? Not necessarily to absorb airlines, although we've covered that, but protecting the people is important. And crypto can't have cred with the general public, unless there's somebody there to protect them.
Yeah, because imagine if that money was your friend who just got into crypto, and they were staking DAI, a stable coin, on D-Force, for example, or I'm not sure how D-Force works, but let's say they were doing that, and their money just got taken like that. They would say F crypto. I mean, they would be done with crypto. So I think for crypto to go mainstream, we have to be able to protect the retail investors who could possibly partake in crypto or even DeFi. So I don't really envision a world that's total chaos and anarchy. All right, so let's go here and see what other questions we have from the audience. Okay, Kenneth says, great show. Thank you. We appreciate the kind words.
Thank you.
Okay, we talked about Phantasma. How much can you earn from Helium via hotspot? It varies each day and depending on how your device mines and what location you're in. But I think I was earning anywhere between 5 to 10 Helium tokens a day. Okay, some people don't like Libra. What's the moon in crypto? Check Token Metrics. Okay, staking is the future. Somebody's talking about synthetics, which is a decentralized exchange for derivatives. Okay, let me just check back here on the forum. I think that might be it for today. Today might end up being a very short show. Let me refresh the forum. So once again, go to forum.tokenmetrics.com to submit any questions you have. Because most of these questions are questions we've pretty much answered. Trying to see if there's one we haven't answered yet. Okay, let's see here. 1 million in crypto. We talked about staking, about DeFi. Anything else you wanted to cover today, Bill? Or is that pretty much it?
I think I had a robust amount to say today, so I think I'm good.
Yeah, very robust today. All right, well, thanks, Bill. I think that's pretty much it. I'll just kind of wrap up here and answer any of the last questions we have. Where can people learn more about you, Bill?
Well, my crypto Twitter is crypto_noble, NOBLE. So that's, that's where I sort of do my crypto hand-drawn stuff. Otherwise, the best way to catch me is right here.
All right, sounds good. So go follow Bill on Twitter, crypto_noble, and subscribe to him. All right, thank you, Bill. It was a pleasure
All
having
right,
you.
Ian, thanks for having me on the show.
All right, take care. All right, let me just wrap this up here. So, any last questions, comments everybody has before we wrap up the show? This is going to be a pretty short show today. Okay. What about Solana? So we are researching Solana. So make sure you're subscribed to tokenmetrics.com. I know I keep on repeating it, but we'll have the official report up there once it's live. We anticipate to have it finished, I would say by the next show it should be up. So I would say 1 week, worst case maybe 2 weeks, but basically end of April. I like Bill, good guy, says Desiree, thank you. Alpha says, Ian, what came first to your mind when you became a crypto millionaire? Oh man, that's a throwback. I would say, so we became millionaires because it wasn't just me, it was me and my other friends who got into crypto at the same time. When I was in Tokyo, Japan, because I quit my job at IBM when I had $250,000 in crypto, so 250,000 US dollars. And I became that was September 2017. And I became a millionaire December 2019. I was in Tokyo, Japan on the first leg of on the second or third leg of a crypto world tour. I looked at my portfolio because we were there hanging out with the Telcoin team because they were hosting us in Tokyo. It was me, Han, Ugo. Looked at my portfolio. I said, "Whoa, 7 figures!" And it was really, I cried tears of joy because it was beautiful. Looking at the phone and saying, "Mama, I made it. 7 figures, 1 milli." Because it made me remind myself why I was doing everything. Because it's not just about the money. It's about the process. Because it really showed me that there was trust in the process. Because I told myself, beginning of the year, I was in Japan. Because it was January 2018. I was on vacation in Japan, working for IBM, but on vacation. And I had to go on vacation and not tell my boss because of office politics. Because in my job in sales, we travel a lot and we work remotely. So my job was to be North America open source analytics sales evangelist. So I was basically an account exec and had customers all across North America. And I would help sell IBM software for open source analytics. So Apache Spark, Apache Hadoop, also the IBM hybrid cloud, selling software like NoSQL, databases, stuff like that. Anyway, right? So I would travel across the country from Boston to San Francisco to Miami. So I covered the entire country. So my boss, I'll talk to him like once a week on the phone. But other than that, I'm either working in hotels, at home, or going to client sites. So I told myself I could tell him I'm going on vacation, but I was already going through some issues with my boss where I had to complain to his boss, my director, and HR about it. And I said, I don't want to give him any ammo because what if I come back and I'm out of a job? So I literally went on vacation to Japan and didn't tell anybody. And while I was there in Japan, some people, and because sales is very competitive, especially enterprise sales. So my team, well, I thought it was my team, they were trying to take a deal away from me, a deal that I went out there and cold called on myself. A deal with Staples, because we're getting Staples to buy some software from us, a deal that I got through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the truth. LinkedIn for prospecting, for anybody out there in sales, works wonders. So, because my team wasn't letting me into my accounts. They were kind of hogging the contacts they had. So as opposed to waiting for them to welcome me in, I went through LinkedIn and got in behind the door. And I was able to close the deal, and now they wanted to take that deal away from me and sell other products that they get paid on. So anyway, essentially, long story short, there were lots of office politics and high-pressure sales, enterprise sales, for any company, but I was working at IBM. And I told myself, what am I doing this for? The money was good. I mean, I was making, my last year in IBM, I made over 400 grand. So almost $500,000 in my 20s, in my late 20s, making almost $500,000. So life was good. But I told myself, it's not about the money. Because at the end of the day, I was there in Tokyo, in the Ritz-Carlton. If anybody who's been to Tokyo in the Ritz-Carlton, great hotel, 5-star hotel. I was there in the Ritz-Carlton. I was staying there on hotel points from traveling a lot with IBM. So I was staying there basically for free. And in my room, the wall is a window. It's nothing but glass. And I can see the skyline of Tokyo, Japan. And I'm like, this is beautiful. Because it's like 50 floors up. And imagine your window wall is nothing but glass. And you can see the skyline view of Tokyo. And I told myself, I'm loving Tokyo, Japan. I want to just stay here and explore. Because my visa to Japan was for 90 days. I told myself, Ian, you have everything. You're 20-something, in your late 20s, making almost $500,000. There are people twice your age who would kill for this life. Yet, I didn't have control in terms of how I enjoyed my success. I had to fly back to America and get back to work. So that's when I told myself, yes, I'm making money, but my work controls my time. I don't really have freedom. I'm just a wage slave, right? I'm a slave to this income, to this salary. And I know people on Twitter have roasted me for calling myself a 6-figure slave. But I mean, really, I was really a wage slave because it didn't matter how much money I made. Somebody else controlled my time. So that's when I told myself, you know what, by the end of the year, I'm going to be my own boss and make my own money. I don't care if I have to make less money because I made $400,000 that year, but I said, I'll be fine just making 6 figures, but having control of my own time, being able to tell myself where I can go and how long I can stay. So it was bittersweet when I made my first million in crypto that I was back in Tokyo. Everything had come full circle. And I said, wow, I'm not really a person who believes in fate per se or destiny, right? Because I always believe in being able to control my actions and what life brings me and being able to just have a positive attitude and being proactive. But I said, man, this was meant to be. Because it was beautiful being able to bring everything back to where it is now. So, my first million, it was beautiful. And then not only having success yourself, but all my homies with me. My day one homies, Ugo, Hen, because we all got into crypto about the same time. All of us made money and became millionaires. And we took a photo and put it on IG. And the beautiful thing about it was, let me see if I can pull up that picture on IG. Because we were 3 black guys who became millionaires through crypto. That was something, because we all know minorities haven't really had the best opportunities when it comes to making money or success. Now, whether you want to say it's due to slavery or colonialism, whatever, right? Regardless of what you think, we were able to hack the system. That's why my channel initially was called Hack the System. I'm pulling up my Instagram here. If you're on Instagram and you don't follow me yet, make sure you do. Let me see if I can find that picture. Okay, that's not it. Here it is. This is the picture on IG. Because this was from December 20th, 2017. I say the 3 of us went all in on cryptocurrency investing around March of this year. We treated this as a full-time job. Our goal was to make our first million before the end of the year. By September, we had all quit our jobs to focus on cryptos. By the end of the year, we all achieved our goal and earned our first million. 3 young Black and African millionaires, inspiring a new generation, breaking down doors and ceilings, while paving the way for the next generation. All thanks to crypto. So crypto changed my life. And not just me, but my entire team's life. And I think everybody out there who was here before the bull run, it definitely probably changed your life as well. If you're still in crypto and you haven't yet become a crypto millionaire, don't worry. Just put in the work. Because honestly speaking, the bear market wrecked almost everybody I know. I definitely don't want to sound like I'm invincible. I got hacked. I made $1 million. I got hacked for $2.5 million. Then on top of that, you add the bear market where almost everything in crypto fell down 90%. I mean, so as of today, in terms of my crypto investments, I'm definitely not a millionaire. Not counting stuff on paper like Token Metrics. I mean, because Token Metrics, the company, the valuation is over $1 million, but that's not really liquid, and that also depends on investors and who buys the company, whatever. But putting Token Metrics, the company, aside, in terms of my crypto investments, I'm definitely not a millionaire. I mean, I'm actually in debt because I've put so much money. I basically sold almost all my crypto to build Token Metrics, the platform. So I bet on myself because during the bear market, I was like, man, I'm tired of betting on Sparksters and all these other, and taking L's on these altcoins. I said, Ian, why don't you bet on yourself? Why don't you build something that you think will do well and something you think people need? So I'm basically all in on crypto and Token Metrics. But I mean, going back to being a millionaire, I mean, that experience, I mean, it's beautiful. Literally, you cry. And I mean, I'm not really one that cries a lot. I'm not really emotional. I mean, because I got hacked and I didn't cry. But when I made $1 million, oh man, I cried tears of joy. Because the blood, sweat, and tears that go into it. That's when it's like during the process, during the grind, during the hustle, you have the entire weight of the world on your back. Because you're not just grinding to make money for yourself. You're grinding for your family. You're grinding for your community. You're grinding to represent those people who didn't have an opportunity. You're grinding to inspire. That's why I call it hustle to greatness. I mean, because with me, like, I was grinding to, like, when I made money in crypto, I was able to pay off my brother's college loans. I paid him, I sent him a check for like 27 grand to pay off his loans. Like, doing things like that. Being able to help my mama and my dad. I mean, I wanted to buy them a home. I didn't get a chance of doing that because I ended up getting hacked. But crypto still helped me with lots of other things. So, I mean, tears of joy. Tears of joy. It was a beautiful thing. If anybody out there who made millions in crypto, let me know what you think. Let me know what you did when you made your first million in crypto. If you haven't yet made your first million, let me know what you will do when you make your first million. Do you plan to retire from work? Do you plan to buy a home for your mom and dad? Do you plan to pay off your debt? For example, I know one other person on here. I don't think he wants his name to be said, but he's been with us since day one as a community member. He paid off over 200 grand in student loans for his wife. I think at that time she was his fiance. But I mean, beautiful things like that. So let me know what you will do when you make your first million in crypto. All right, great question. Okay, let's see here. Ian is an honest dude. Love you, brother. Thank you, Alpha. Yeah, I mean, just trying to keep it 100. You're an awesome person. Thank you, Desiree. Great story. Thank you, Philip. Will Token Metrics ever be on CoinMarketCap? Soy Freight, I can't really comment on that. Obviously, never say never. Right now, we do not have a token. We have raised a small round of equity from family and friends. But never say never. Just stay tuned. Stay tuned. Black Bill Gates in the making. So, I mean, yes. So, thank you, Crypto Yanche, talking about that. Black Bill Gates in the making is definitely a good way to kind of sum up my entire thesis and philosophy on life. What do I mean by that? Because, I mean, people have called me lots of things, right? Whether a capitalist or somebody who's just in it for the money. But the thing is, right, as somebody who's well read and well versed on philosophy, one thing you have to realize is morality does not exist. For anybody out there, I definitely recommend you check out philosophers like Nietzsche. That's why Friedrich Nietzsche is my favorite philosopher, right? As he likes to say, we the immoralists. Morality is subjective. What do I mean by that? Events in the objective world exist independent of morality, independent of good or bad. That's why Nietzsche also has a book called Beyond Good and Evil, which is also a good book to read. Meaning that events, they just exist. But then humans bring their subjective interpretation on events, sure where they come from, and they project that onto an event. So back to the act of making money and being a black billionaire, or just the pursuit of money. Money is not the root of all evil. Money just exists, independent of morality. Money is neither good nor evil. It's just, it has no moral valuation onto it. People project their moral valuation of money based on their subjective interpretation of the world. Because money can be used for bad things, and money can also be used for good things, but they're all subjective. So the best way to kind of sum it up, Nietzsche has this quote that goes like this: you have your way, I have my way, but there is no right way. Something kind of like that. I'm kind of paraphrasing, but that's really the quote, right? Let me see if I can find the exact quote here, because we are doing this live here. Just want to make sure I have it. Yeah, so here's a quote. Just pulled this up here from Goodreads, which is a great site, by the way. So the quote is, you have your way, I have my way. As for the right way, the correct way, and the only way, it does not exist. So never let anybody tell you making money is evil, or trying to become a billionaire is evil. Never let anybody shame you. I mean, because shame is not even real. I mean, what is shame? I mean, this is why I'm very polarizing by nature, and why crypto Twitter does not like me, because I don't cower to shame. I don't cower to subjective interpretations of the world, right? There is no right way of doing one thing. That's just somebody else's interpretation of something. So to me, the pursuit of money is a noble venture, right? It's not just a noble venture, but it's the most noblest of all ventures, because I am taking personal responsibility for my own success. I'm not sitting there waiting for a handout. I'm not sitting there trying to loot from somebody else. Because for me, the inspiration in terms of making money is this. I mean, I was born in Africa, in Uganda, a country that is still recovering from colonialism. And the fact that I look at, as a kid, I would look at Forbes, all these different media publications talking about financial success, and I never saw anybody who looked like me. And I said, why is that? I mean, going through the Forbes 400 list, I mean, almost everybody did not look like me. So rather than complaining about that, rather than saying, why is that? Life's not fair, I took personal responsibility in changing that. I said, you know what? I'm going to try to put more people who look like me on the Forbes list. So if I have to do it by myself, I'll do it. But ideally, I want to achieve that success, become a billionaire, and then pave the way for other people like me from Uganda, from Africa, even America and the developed world, but more importantly, people in the developing world, to show them that, hey, anything is possible if you put your mind to it. If Ian Belina, a kid from Kampala, Uganda, a third world country, can become a black billionaire, then nobody has a reason not to strive for the pinnacle of financial success. I mean, I think that story, that example, will do more to put more people like me on those lists, right? So that's why I strive to become a billionaire. So if somebody wants to shame me for that, sorry, but I will not cower to that shame. I will not buy into their subjective interpretation and moral valuations. I'm too good for that, right? So anyway, I know I'm kind of rambling, but that's why I strive to be a black billionaire. Yes, I joke about wanting to buy a basketball team and all that other stuff, but that's still something I want to do. It's nice and fun, but at the end of the day, it's really about the process. So just imagine how many people I've already inspired by becoming a crypto millionaire. In 2018, we had a crypto world tour. Went to almost 40 countries. All in all, in my life, I've been to 45 countries, but just on the world tour, we did, I think, 35 countries in 12 months. Almost a country every 2 weeks, something like that. Incredible, right? We've been on went on several continents: North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Middle East, Asia, Australasia. basically every continent except Antarctica I've been on, preaching and spreading the word of crypto. Because people see my story and they can relate to that. So imagine how much we've already done thus far, just by me paving the way and showing how I've become a crypto millionaire. Imagine if I do the same thing as a billionaire. Imagine if I become a billionaire, whether through crypto or other ventures, and I document the process as Gary Vee says, and I share that every single step of the way through live streams. I mean, that's what they don't want you to do. Nobody wants you to give the game away. That's why we're here doing live streams every week, 3 hours straight, answering your questions about financial freedom and success. Now imagine how many billionaires are doing live streams. Not too many. I mean, but if I ever become a billionaire, you best believe I'll still be doing live streams and giving the game away. So, I mean, that's why I do this. Now, yes, I did create Token Metrics, and yes, that is a paid service. But that's also because I realized the higher up you climb, the more they come for you. I mean, everybody saw this. I was hacked live on the air during a live stream. So imagine what's going to happen and I've had death threats come after me. People have sent death threats to me, my family. So that's why I've kind of been more reserved, more private. And that was just as a millionaire. What's going to happen when I become a billionaire? I mean, I'll become a bigger target. So with Token Metrics, we've tried to keep things affordable. We've still been giving away free accounts, kind of think of them as scholarships. For example, this week we gave a basic account to somebody who was active on the forum. So if anybody out there is active and engaged, we'll definitely find ways to help you, right? To quench your thirst for knowledge. But at the end of the day, I do realize, just by definition, this actually comes also from Nietzsche. For something to be great, by definition, it cannot be for everybody. Let me see if I can find a quote for that, right? Let me just say that again. By definition, for something to be great, it cannot be for everybody. Not everyone can, because this is probably one of Nietzsche's best quotes. I mean, Nietzsche was a quotation machine. This is why he's amazing. Okay, so here we go again. Once again on Goodreads. So let me just zoom in on this. In the end, things must be as they are and have always been. The great things remain for the great, the abysses for the profound, the delicacies and thrills for the refined, and to sum up shortly, everything rare for the rare. What does that mean? That means if you want to be great, if you want to be a rare individual, you by definition cannot be average. You have to be rare. So the best way to think of this is look at your current life today and ask yourself, is your work ethic rare? I mean, look at all the people around you, your family, your friends, coworkers, and honestly and objectively ask yourself, is my hustle and grind rare? One way to think of it is your hustle and grind in the top 5%? So are you in the 90th or 95th percentile of hustle? I know I'm up there, right? But that's how I keep myself in check. I look around at what everybody else around me is doing, my friends, my coworkers, and ask myself, how many hours is this person working? How many hours am I working? If you're working a lot less than them, or not putting in as much work, don't expect to get real things. If you want greatness, you have to first become a great individual. Nietzsche called this the Ubermensch. You have to become Superman, right? It basically translates to that. You have to become Superman. If you're, doesn't matter what you do, what industry you're in, whether it's basketball, being a lawyer, an accountant, if you want to be the greatest accountant in the world, that's the secret to success. Look around at the people around you, and yes, that means you have to measure yourself against people around you. And ask yourself, am I the top 5% best lawyers? And the best way to think of it is begin slow, right? First begin maybe in your city. First get greatness in your city. Then once you do that, then branch out into other areas. So maybe You go from being the best lawyer in your city, so for example, best lawyer in Washington D.C., to then being the best lawyer in America, to being the best lawyer in the world. So as Meek Mill says, there are levels to this. So you have to level up, kind of like a video game. So if you're a crypto investor, I mean, with me, I became a small YouTuber. Then that blew up. The next thing you know, I was doing world tours. So the fact that I was a crypto investor going around the world speaking means that I broke away from just being somebody who's good on YouTube or good in America to being somebody who is respected globally. So that's how I get inspiration from Nietzsche and other philosophers. But I mean, I'm not even sure how this began. But I mean, that's really my secret, right? So back to this point of being a black billionaire. It's really about positing a goal and then the process of working to strive towards that goal. Because yes, I know that it's a very ambitious goal. And chances are I may not even achieve it. But guess what? I'm not afraid of failure. And neither should anybody. Nobody should be afraid of failure because failure is great. Failure is only bad if you don't learn from failure. If you learn from failure, you win. It's a lesson, right? Kind of like walking. You walk by failing several times. And why most people are unreally successful in life is because they don't fail enough. Let me repeat that again. Lots of people are not successful in life because they don't fail enough. So to me, failure is great. I fail all the time. Even right now, I'm failing. I mean, I thought Token Metrics would be like blowing up like the next Binance. But guess what? Coronavirus came in. It's like, nope, not today. I'm not going to give up. Still here grinding. Still here putting in the work. Like this week. I mean, I probably worked 70 hours this week. I mean, I'm working right now on a Sunday. Last night on Saturday, I worked 12 hours on Saturday. So, because I began working from 4 p.m. till 2 a.m. yesterday on a weekend. I don't know how many people are working on weekends, but that's what motivates me because I have a goal. But I also know that, okay, once I've done all this, then I'm going to rest and party. I mean, that's why on the Crypto World Tour, I kind of slowed down with the videos because I've been grinding through all of 2017, all of 2017. So when I finally achieved my goal, I had to let loose, I had to breathe, I had to unwind. So sorry if I was on a hiatus and I wasn't doing as many videos, but understand that I was working 50s, probably 70, 80 hour weeks each week. So I finally had to go on a mini vacay, right? On a vacation. But now, in this bear market, in 2018, towards the end of I would say all of 2019, and now 2020, I'm grinding, I'm putting in the work, because now I'm building up Token Metrics. So I'm going to work hard like this, probably minimum 40, but maximum I would say 70, sometimes even 80 hours a week for like 1 or 2 years straight until it reaches a point where it's successful and it can sustain itself on its own, and then I'll take a break. So that's kind of what I'm doing. That's my process. It's definitely not for everybody, but guess what? As Nietzsche says, everything rare for the rare. If you want to be a rare individual, if you want to be great, you have to do rare things. So the blood, sweat, and tears you put in cannot be mediocre. You cannot purchase your blood, sweat, and tears from IKEA or Costco. You can't buy that wholesale. It has to be unique. You have to be a special snowflake. And if the word snowflake, I'm sorry, but you will not be a rare individual. And that's why we're putting in the work to become billionaires. Because first of all, just wanting to become a billionaire is a rare goal. Not everyone is doing that. But on top of that, we now have to have the work ethic of somebody who's going to become a billionaire. That's where the inspiration comes from. Because if your goal is just to be mediocre, you won't wake up or put in the work late at night to become a black billionaire. Or you can be a billionaire of any race, I don't care. But the thing is, you posit a goal, and that goal is kind of the carrot that motivates you to grind. So when I'm working on a Saturday for 12 hours straight, no water, no lunch, no breakfast, no lunch, no dinner, 12 hours straight. That's where the inspiration comes from. So I know I've kind of rambled all over the place, but that's my take on being on aspiring to become a billionaire. I'm doing it for myself, my family, my people, the crypto family, but I'm gonna try to inspire and pave the way and just be an example. So rather than complaining about the top 1% and how the money's not trickling down, forget that. We're gonna go into the top 1% ourselves. We're gonna bulldoze our way into it, whether it's through crypto or through gold or precious metals or real estate. I don't care what it is. If there's a way, I will will my way to it. That's why I love the book, The Will to Power. Very, very good book. Actually, let me see if I have the book here. Okay, it's not here. But I highly encourage you to check out the book, The Will to Power. It's a very tough book. Definitely not an easy read. But, I mean, I'm still going through that. I've not finished this book yet. But it's probably the concepts in it are probably the best concepts I've read anywhere. So this is the book. Friedrich Nietzsche, The Will to Power. It's not a book for everybody. This will change the way you look at the world. I mean, literally change the way you look at the world. Now, what's really helped me with understanding the concepts in the book, there are some lectures on YouTube. Let me see if I can pull them up here. By Dr. Jason J. Campbell that I've been going through. I've been going through them for a second time. Let me just pull them up here. He has two playlists. It's over 50 hours of lecture on just that book. He's a philosophy professor. So this is his channel. Definitely check it out. If we go to, this is part 2. Where's part 1? Right now, I've been going through part 1. Yeah, so this is the playlist. He just goes through on a whiteboard, just dissecting the book. I highly encourage you to check out this playlist. He's also a brother as well. So go check it out. The first playlist is over 200 videos, each about 10 minutes long. Yeah, almost 200 videos. That's part 1. Then go through part 2 as well. I mean, if you don't have time to read the book, just even going through the lectures in itself, will definitely change your life. I mean, the fact that this is what I'm doing in my free time. I mean, these are the lectures that really go through and change the way you view philosophy. Because philosophy is, in a way, a lost art and science. Okay, I mean, so all in all, over 300 videos on just that book, The Will to Power. Now, so I would definitely recommend you read through the book while you go through the lectures, if you can. If you cannot, just watch the lectures. But I mean, those lectures would change the way you look at everything. So Nietzsche goes through and he does really thorough critiques on nihilism, on religion, morality, the world, and he really posits a new way to look at the world. And he calls it a will to power. And it's not really about striving and being power hungry per se, but it's about almost in a way becoming a rare individual, becoming that Ubermensch, becoming a Superman or Supergirl, right? And being able to just posit goals and strive for them. And because that's where almost in a way, the term superheroes come from, right? Being a Superman and being a superhero came from Nietzsche. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Or are we all going to become billionaires together?
Shut up and take my money. Right? Shut up and take my money.
As we like to say. With that being said, thank you, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Comment down below if you're going to become a billionaire with us. If you're going to take this rocket ship with us to the moon and beyond. All right. With that being said, as we like to say, the moon is not... Hold on.
We just landed
To
on
the
the
moon in a Lambo. The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, I'll see you beyond the moon. Because the moon is not the limit. I'll see you on the other side when we're all billionaires. Doesn't matter where you come from, whether you're from North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Middle East, Africa, Australasia, Antarctica. I don't care if you're from a different planet. We're all going to the moon together and beyond, and we're all going to become billionaires. Because do you know why? Because we are the rare individuals. We're here on a weekend, tuning in for a 3-hour live stream, learning and educating ourselves. That's something that not everybody's doing. That's not a mediocre work ethic. That's how you get better. We are by definition doing great things. So even if we're not seeing the results, we know there's a very good chance, it's very highly probable that we'll become great individuals. Let me repeat that again, because some of you might have missed that part. Just by going through the process and knowing that our process is great, our process is unique, our process is better, or rather we're putting in more time than everybody else, we know that our big break will come. So if we're putting in 80 hours a week studying crypto and other people are not doing that, we know even though we don't have success yet, our success is coming because we have a great work ethic. We have a great hustle to greatness. We have a will to power. All right. With that being said, thank you all very much. It was great having you all here. I'll see you next time. To the moon and beyond.
We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. It feel good, don't it? Alright. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the same pulse. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the same pulse. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the same pulse. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. Just me again, hustle to win. Elon's on the phone, he got out all lots of spaceship, but dives for free. That's if you want it with 10 spreadsheet. Can't give it in, coming with me now. I give the blueprint to build, making the moon in the plan. I went from being a little limits to a lunar land. You did it, you make it, no matter who it is. I'm trying to shoot it in, tell me if it's cool. ICOs, my coins must roll like mighty O's. I like to get to Mars, portfolio can bring my whole entourage like I'm RPO. To the moon and the Lambo, ain't a halo, presume we can't go. Lambos pulling up in twos like it's tango. Up in the clouds with my crew like I'm Lando. Yeah, just landed on the moon in the Lambo. Taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the same pulses. Our publishing on the zoom with a halo. No moon in the angels. Man, we die, we ain't playing. The can't stand. We fly where they can't land. Lifestyle, so good I got right there. Try that, don't make me pull my drive out. Man, we die, we ain't playing. They can't stand. We flying where they can't land. Lifestyle, I never gotta lie about. Try it out, don't make me pull my drive out. Yeah, I wasn't always a celebrity. Had to do right till I left you a legacy. Blood, sweat, and tears on this trail like a Cherokee. Business had a mission like Apollo and so heavenly. Mercy. We flying where they can't land. Lifestyle.
Object of your mental, what? Moon in the Lambo, taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the same pulse. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. We just landed on the moon in the Lambo, taking pictures with the zoom and the angle. We'll be coming back to you with the same pulse. Our predictions coming soon with a halo. The moon and the angels, made man who died, read the game plan. They can't stand, we fly where they can't land. Lifestyle, so good I gotta write down. Trying down, don't make me pull my drive out. Made man who died, read the game plan. They can't stand, we flying where they can't land. Lifestyle, I never gotta lie about. Trying out, don't make me pull my drive out. Yeah, alright. Don't make me pull my drive out. Crypto life, yeah, yeah. Made man, baby, baby. How to rap true, yeah. Diary made man. Stay tuned, go.
Token Metrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams. Learn more at tokenmetrics.com. Disclaimer: Token Metrics Media LLC does not provide individually tailored investment advice and does not take a subscriber's or anyone's personal circumstance into consideration when discussing investments, nor is it registered as an investment advisor or broker-dealer in any jurisdiction. Information contained herein is not an offer or solicitation to buy, hold, or sell any security. The Token Metrics team has advised and invested in many blockchain companies. A complete list of their advisory roles and current holdings can be viewed here at tokenmetrics.com/disclosure.